Hello everyone, just getting my tripod finished and set up. Bear with me 2 seconds. There we go. What is going on, guys? Welcome to my second live stream ever. Happy New Year. If you're watching this is your first video of mine that you're watching for the new year. So let's get into this one. In today's video, so on my Instagram this week, I posted this video recently about I feel like people compare themselves to things that they don't necessarily want. And I thought this is a really good way to start this new year because obviously it's a new year. Everyone likes to set goals and everything and all that kind of thing, which is amazing. But I just want to make sure that no one gets stuck in the trap of comparing themselves to things that they, it's kind of like pushed in front of them and they get this idea of what success should be like. And then it turns out that they don't actually want that. And that can be a very confusing place to be. So in today's video, hopefully we'll talk about that a little bit. And the whole topic, I guess, is how to become the person that you want to become. And this is something that I always go on about. I always talk about engineering the life that you actually want to live and living the life that you want to live and becoming that person. So today I'm going to talk a bit about the process of how to do that. I've got my laptop once again, as you can see. I would normally the thing about live streaming, as I've said in my last one, it's very new to me. It's a bit alien to me because I'm so used to like having notes, not scripts, but notes to kind of go off of for my videos. I'm used to having the chance to film a clip. If I mess up, I just re-record it. But obviously on live stream, you can't do that. So I'm making sure that I've got a backup plan in the form of my notes on my laptop. So hopefully you don't mind. Yeah, so I think the first thing to mention is I think one of the first things that people, well, not mess up, but people fail to realize is that in order to become the person that you want to become and to live the life that you want to live, you need to have a definition of what that actually is. Like, what is that? Who do you want to become? What does that person look like? What is their core identity? And, when you think about the life that you want to live, what does that contain? What exactly, and be specific as you can. And, when it comes to like a new year and new goals and everything and all that kind of thing, it's like, this is the this is the very fundamental thing that like needs to be thought about is like, what exactly do you want to get out of this year? Who exactly do you want to become? What do you want to improve about yourself? What do you want to achieve this year? Be as specific as you can, because you know if you don't have a destination, it's going to be very hard for you to map the course to get there. Does that make sense? Like, you need to first of all have that end goal in mind before you can actually start to reverse engineer and bring it back and think, okay, well, if I do this, then maybe I'll take a small step closer towards that. And that makes sense. It is kind of like a reverse engineering process. And me being an engineer by trade, I know it's kind of like it's a process that I think engineering has actually, reinforced in my mind that it's actually very useful. It's very useful to do this. It's very useful to think about that end goal and think, okay, well, what small steps can I do each day and each day and each day in order to get to that end goal? So the way I've done this and the way I want to structure this video is kind of like in a few sections, I'm going to talk about things that I believe make up a core of my identity. And I do genuinely believe that, if a lot of people watching this who kind of want to, you know, achieve things for themselves, if they were to do these things or like follow this framework, then they would definitely take steps to become the person that they want to become and ultimately achieve living the life that they want to live. So also just want to say before we get into this, I do have a question comments box active. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to throw them in there and I will do my best to make sure that I answer them either during the video or maybe towards the end of it. So without further ado, let's get into the first topic. And I mean, there's no prizes for guessing what this first thing is that I want to speak about. And it's fitness. I always talk about, and you all know this, I always talk about fitness as being the gateway for me changing my life. But why is that? Well, when I think about the person that I want to become, I think about the people that I respect and the kind of life that I want to live. And I know that a big part of that is me being a good example of someone who's disciplined, hardworking, who is consistent, who achieves great things. And I feel like focusing on fitness is just such a great way for me to do that, because if you think about all the traits that it takes for you to get in shape, it takes consistency. You don't get results from one workout, you get results from hundreds. it takes delayed gratification, you know, that idea of knowing that, you know, you can be greater in the future if you just stick to the plan and like you're consistent, you work day in, day out. So, and then you think about discipline. Obviously, no one gets in shape without being disciplined. No one, it just doesn't happen. Like you need to be disciplined and go in, day out, and train day in, day out. And you know, you need to be making sure that you're going in regardless of how you feel. And I think for me, that is just like something fitness has taught me. So from going to someone who was obese, from being someone who was obese to going to, like, you know, becoming in shape and losing so much weight, losing over 25 kilos, you can't have done that without very specific traits. So, you know, for me, fitness is very much a core of who I am. And I think for a lot of people, a lot of people's goals when they think about what they want to achieve, if you are to, you know, achieve those, fitness will be a really good way for you to, you know, get the personality traits required for you to get there, if that makes sense. So for sure, that is why fitness is always the always the most, like, it's always the first thing I speak about in videos like this. So no prizes for guessing that that was going to be the first topic. Now, hand in hand with that is nutrition. And when I think about using myself as an example, I've spoken about this in the previous couple of YouTube videos, but I still very much have parts of the obese me in terms of mindset. And it's unfortunate that that's the case because, you know, I kind of wish I didn't have those traits. But unfortunately, I do. They are just part of who I am. And a big part of that is my love for junk food and food that's just plain and simply not good for you. I just, I don't know what it is. I crave it all the time. I gorge on it when I when I have it. I really want to like gorge on it. Um, but the thing is, when I think about the person that I want to be in the future, the person I want to become, he's fit and healthy. He's not by any stretch of the imagine um, unhealthy due to his weight and due to his food intake as well. And this is another way that's kind of like, especially when it comes to discipline, this has been a great thing for me, is knowing how much I love food like that and wanting to eat food like that all the time, but knowing that it's just not conducive to what I want to achieve. So it's just one of those, like, I'm a lot better about it now because I know that I can have those kind of things. I regulate it a lot better. I'm a lot better with my portions. I think that was a big thing. And yeah, thinking about the person that I want to be and the life I want to live, I want to live a healthy life. I think about, you know, this is one of the biggest whys that I have is the future family, the future wife and kids that, you know, hopefully I'm going to have one day. And, you know, I want to be there for as long as I can for them and in the best physical and mental state that I can be for them as well. And a lot of that is going to be ensure that I keep myself fit and healthy and in good shape, and making sure that I can play with my kids for as long as I can until my joints start to give out. And you know, do things like even the ability to cook good food, and you know, make sure that my future family is well looked after in terms of that. Whenever I cook for them, and I plan on doing that a lot, I want to make sure that I'm feeding them good, nutritious food that's tasty, that they enjoy, that can bring us all together. You know, all that kind of thing. So for sure, like nutrition is definitely been one of those things for me in terms of like the person that I want to become. And maybe that is for you as well, especially those of you who have fitness-based goals. Nutrition is obviously going to be key for that. So think about the person you want to become and what you want to achieve. What would that person have as part of their, like, you know, daily nutrition? What kind of nutritional principles would they have? How would they be looking after themselves in by using nutrition as a tool? So think about that as well when it comes to who you want to become. The next thing is career, and I know I don't speak about career very much on this channel, especially, well, I do in terms of YouTube and social media, but not with the career that I have. For anyone who doesn't know, I am an engineer by trade. I'm a full-time engineer, and my job actually requires me to travel around the UK and Ireland very frequently to hospitals. Most specifically, I work a lot in theatres, and um, it's my first engineering gig. This is the first, I went to university to study business for like for perspective, and I found myself in this engineering role, obviously retraining when I came back to the UK. And yep, now I engineer full time, and it was a tough process to retrain and everything, but now that I'm in this role, I love it. I do love it. It's not what I want to do for the rest of my life, just being transparent. It's not what I want to do for the rest of my life, But in terms of the career that I have, I really do love it. Now, why is that relevant? So when it comes to the person that you want to become, what kind of life would they kind of build for themselves when it comes to their work? Would they be, and I don't want to, I don't want this to sound like a call out to anyone who's watching this, but would they be putting up with a job that they know that they really don't like, but they're just doing it as a means to an end? Would they do that? And I know a lot of people do that and put up with it, but my question to you is, can you do something different about this? Can you change your approach? Can you change what you're doing to make sure it's something that you're a lot more aligned to, a lot more passionate about, and that could potentially provide you a better life? Just a bit of food for thought. I think career is, especially for those of you who are, maybe late 20s and onwards, because I can safely say from personal experience, a lot of my 20s were spent just like traveling and doing fun, cool stuff. And that was amazing and I loved it. But it got to a stage, when I moved back to the UK, and it was just before the lockdown when I realised, hang on, Dean, that was a lot of fun and I had generated a lot of amazing life experiences from that. Has it put me in the best place career-wise? No, because I was basically starting from scratch at the age of, 29, 30. So there's that to think about as well. But think about I'm always going to link this back to the person that you want to become and the life that you want to live. And think about if your career offers you the chance to become who you want to become or to live the life that you want to live. Right now, for me, I'm very fortunate that is the case, that I think that my job is serving me in that sense. I would obviously love for YouTube and social media to kick on a little bit more and for that to become my main thing moving forwards. But I'm very understanding, a lot like my own fat loss journey and becoming the person that I wanted to be physically. I know that career wise, it's going to take the same process. It's going to take a lot of work day in day out. Just showing up consistently. I'm going to be obviously making YouTube videos, going live on YouTube. I'm going to be I've been posting daily on Instagram and TikTok for the past, I don't even know how long now. And I know that it's going to be a long process of doing all those things, but eventually I want it to pay off, because I know that if I do this, which is something that I'm truly passionate about, and I do it for a very long time, it will definitely help me in terms of my career in creating the life that I want. That's the more specific thing when it comes to this, I guess, career. So we've spoken about fitness, nutrition, and career, which are three very important pillars to me, and I think are going to be very important pillars to anyone watching this who wants to, really achieve something this year and create the life that they really want to live. But how does this all tie back together? Now, the next two things we're going to discuss are two things that I make content about these things all the time, especially on Instagram and TikTok, my short form stuff, and YouTube Shorts, I guess. But the next thing I wanted to talk about is your habits. I genuinely believe that we are only as good as our habits. And, I described at the start of this video, like the person that I want to be and, the person that I visualize myself being, a high achiever, someone who's a great symbol of hard work, dedication, consistency, delayed gratification, the ability to do hard things, the ability to sacrifice. And I think your daily habits are going to be a constant daily reminder of what they are. If you think of those as your investment accounts, your daily habits are the small deposits that you put in daily in order to, feed those investment accounts. And, this year when I joined the new gym, when I joined Unit 7, I used to be a evening gym goer. And I used to be honest, I enjoyed it. I still to this day believe that, physically I perform better in the evening because, we've got food in my system, my CNS, my nervous system has had some time to wake up. But since I joined Unit 7, I flipped that. I was kind of like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm in first thing, 6 a.m. That's the first session that they have available. That's the one that I want to go to. Guys, it's hard doing that, especially on a consistent basis. In this time of year in the UK, where it's absolutely freezing, you got to defrost your car when you get up in the morning, and you wake up and it's pitch black outside, it's windy, it's raining, and your bed is so nice and warm and cozy, but you made a promise to yourself that you're going to get up and do this session, so that's what you got to follow through with. And it's difficult, but becoming an early riser and becoming an AM gym goer for me has been such a transformative thing. It's had such a transformative impact on my life. I just don't think there's anything better. Really don't think there's anything better that I have in my life right now that is a symbol to me that I'm choosing myself, that I'm choosing my progression, that I'm choosing my goals, that I am just on the right, I'm on the straight and narrow, I'm on the right track. And, it's funny because every now and then I will go through a few days where I don't do the 6 a.m. class. And yes, I let myself sleep an extra hour of it. In fact, I'll get up at like 5:45 or sometimes as late as 6:30. I know, crazy 6:30, right? But that's a lie to me these days, and it's mad to say that. But when that happens, and then the first day, for example, tonight I'm going to be doing it. Tonight I'm going to set myself a 4:45 a.m. alarm to make sure that I'm up handy in plenty of time before that 6 a.m. session. And I always smile to myself when it happens. I honestly, and this is genuinely serious. I set the alarm, I smile, and I think, this is it. Here we go, another day. And I'm so excited to get up and just get to it because I know the transformative impact it's had on me and my life. So that's just one of many daily habits that I have. Obviously there's so many that I could go on, but I don't want to talk about them for too much. But I want you to think about the habits that you have. Think of the habits that you have as part of your daily routine and that you do consistently. Are they conducive to the person that you want to become? Are they conducive to you living the life that you want to live? Think about those things. I just think you are only as good as your habits. The thing that you always fall back on when you want to feel more like yourself. And it's funny because sometimes I think about times when I have a rough night's sleep, and it will be so easy for me to for my alarm to go off, for me to look at it and think, no, not today, and just shut it off, roll over, and go back to bed. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. In 2025, that probably happened. I could probably count the number of times on one hand that happened. Probably happened less than 5 times. So I'm not perfect, and I don't expect anyone else to be. I wouldn't expect anyone else to be perfect, because I certainly am not. But it's really nice when I have one of those days where I have every reason not to get up, but the alarm gets up, and I just have a little grumble to myself, throw the sheets off me, and just get out of bed. And when I'm sat in the car driving to the gym, I just know that I've made the right choice. Because I want to be a savage, guys. Genuinely, I'm so. This is gonna sound funny. I am so deluded. I am so unbelievably deluded. I have a ridiculous, a bloody nonsensical amount of self belief, and I genuinely believe that I'm going to achieve everything that I want to achieve. And it's because it sounds trivial, but it's because I have so much evidence of repeated actions that just say that I'm on the right track. Those actions speak louder than any words can. Those actions of getting up on 4 hours sleep sometimes, when I would just get up and go to the gym, and then I just go through my normal working day as if nothing's happened. I get myself to bed early the next day, most likely, and then the cycle starts again. I'm psychopathic when it comes to that. I just am. I'm robotic, psychopathic, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I know that that's conducive to the person that I want to become. I know that the level of success that I want to achieve is disproportionately large. So I have to do I can't even speak. I have to do a disproportionately large amount of work in order to get there. I accept that. I welcome it. I embrace it. So my daily habits reflect that. So I want you to think about your daily habits as well when it comes to this. And the last thing is hobbies and joy. And this is something that I do want people to listen to very succinctly because it's important. I mean, I've just been speaking about being psychopathic and robotic and all those kind of things, but you have to be able to smile through the process. You have to be able to actually laugh and spend time with people that you love and all of those things. And it's funny because I think that as the more disciplined and more psychopathic and more robotic I've become when it comes to chasing my goals and chasing the person that I want to be, I think I've actually become so much better and at enjoying life and throwing myself into hobbies and making sure that my life is filled with moments that I genuinely just think this right here is an incredible moment, or I do something that that makes me think that is never going to get old. Even now these days, something as little as driving down the road and seeing a really nice sky. I'm pretty sure that happened yesterday morning. I remember thinking to myself, that's an amazing sky. And I took a little bit of footage on my Meta glasses. Maybe I'll post that on my Instagram at some stage. But yeah, you've just got to learn to, enjoy the whole process. You have to, because I've been talking about how difficult it is to get up in the morning sometimes, but like I still smile when I set the alarm. And a lot of times, in fact, every time when I go to the gym in the morning and I finish that session, I know that I've made the right choice. I feel so good for having done that. So, you really do have to think about like enjoying the process too, because that is going to be a huge part of it. And like, just because you're on a mission to grow doesn't mean you have to be miserable or completely obsessed or completely restrictive, because, this is something I speak about in short form content a lot as well. Prioritizing yourself when it comes to health, fitness, career, everything, it's supposed to enhance your enjoyment of life, not take away from it. For example, if you were to hypothetically focus on your career a bit more, maybe you will get yourself a pay rise that you wanted, maybe you'll get yourself a promotion that you wanted. What would you do with that extra cash? What extra freedom would it allow you to partake in? For me, one of the better things about doing a bit better financially is the ability to just like not worry. I just like don't worry. Like I can book a holiday. I can cover a bill an unexpected bill of £1,000. I can cover that. It's fine. It's I can manage it. I have the means to be able to do that now. I have the means to be able to drive the car that I drive and everything, and treat myself to things that occasionally, by the way, that I feel like I just deserve. And I don't think you can really put a price on that. And obviously that's just one very small part of it, but you have to be able to just enjoy your life, and enjoy everything that it becomes. Because don't forget, part of this, it's a very long-term process. You're going to become the person that you want to become. You're going to achieve what you're going to achieve. You're going to create the life that you want to live. And as you go through that process, you're going to hit milestones, and you're going to find opportunities where happiness is just there. It's just there, and you really have got to be grateful when it's there, because it's not always there. A large part of this process is going to be sadness, it's going to be anger, it's going to be really tough. But when those moments are there, where you can experience a little bit of joy, make sure that you genuinely enjoy them. So, I guess to bring all of this together, I remember a while ago, this is when I was still working with my business coach. I don't think he intended for this to be something that, was a quote or something that would stick in my head, but I still remember when he dropped this casually in a conversation with me, and it has just stuck with me since then. He said, "Don't forget, Dean, that the idea of a goal is not necessarily to achieve the goal, it's to become the person capable of achieving it." And I thought about that for a while, and I was like, holy shit, he's right. And I thought about like the business goals that I had at the time, and I thought about I was just trying to digest what he said. I was like, okay, the goal is not to achieve the goal, it's to become the person capable of achieving it. And let me ask you, if you are to achieve the goal of becoming the person that you want to become, or creating the life that you want, well, what is it going to take for you to get there? Like, I said this at the start of the video, what is it going to take? Who do you need to become? Do you need to become more disciplined? Do you need to become more consistent? Do you need to earn more money? Do you need to, I don't know, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But when he said that to me, it really stuck with me. So I really want you to think about that moving forwards as well. And you think about the goals that you want to achieve. And remember that the goal is not necessarily to achieve those things, it's to become the person capable of achieving it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really, to be honest, I've glanced at my notes as you've seen, but I don't really know if this video went how I intended it to, but I'm kind of glad it went the way it did, because I feel like there's a lot of valuable insight there, and I really hope that you did take something away from it. So if you did enjoy this in any way, shape or form, please go ahead and leave a like on the video, and make sure you subscribe for more content like this. I'm gonna be going live probably once a month, but either way, there's gonna be some kind of long form content every single week on YouTube, and there's going to be short form content pretty much every single day across YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So I hope you'll join me for it, and I really hope you take something away from it. With that in mind, I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to wrap this up here. Probably go live again in February, but yeah, more good stuff coming soon. Have an amazing week ahead, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.